I went out looking for some ants to start an ant colony, and I was so lucky that I found these ones on this dirty wall. I had to come up with a plan on how to get them all in. So I quickly grabbed strawberry jam, an empty container, and then a sticky tape just to create some magic. So I went back to the wall, tried to tape the container on the wall. Off camera, I had to put the strawberry in the jar. I kind of like just painted it on the jar to be able just to attract the ants into the jar. And this is me trying to stick the jar to the wall just so that the ants could crawl into the jar. The sticky tape wasn't doing the job at this point, but I was able to get it done after trying so many times. At this point, I just waited to see who my first aunt was going to be. I was really hoping that the first one who comes would kind of like go in there, have a test, come out, invite the entire colony. Like, oh my god, I've just seen something really great. Let's go have lunch. But we waited and waited for a long time, and it wasn't just working. So I had to try to like lure them by putting a tiny drop of the jam at the entrance to the jar just to attract them into the jar. So I waited, and this one came, had a test, and left. That was actually the first one. He just had a test and left. I was like, okay, good. He's gonna go spread the news. But he didn't come back, and nobody came back. I just kept waiting, and then this other one just came, dangled at the front, and left. And all of a sudden, this other one came. He had a test. Tried. He actually tried to go in. I was so excited that he was going in, but he came out again. Then this one, and then these other one. They just came and had a test, and they left. So I just felt like it wasn't sweet enough to actually keep them, because I know how ants are. Usually, when they love something really sweet, they would just have a test and then stay. They would either stay and just have it until they're like full, or they just go and call the rest. But you can see what's going on here. They're just everywhere but on the jam. So I just felt like it wasn't sweet enough, so I had to come up with a plan. So I melted a few drops of sugar in water. I made it really sweet, and then tried to like drop it, a huge drop of it on the jam. So as soon as I put it on the jam, and I noticed that they loved the sugar on the jam. So I tried to use the sugar to work my way into the jar just to attract them into the jar once more. But the sugary water just rolled down to the wall, and instead of the ants going into the jar, they were trying to sip from the one on the wall. These ants are just doing everything else except entering into the jar. So I had to change the plan. Okay, so I had to bring the jar downwards this time, because I felt like, because it was upside down the other time, it was kind of like a struggle for them to go up rather than coming down. So I had to bring it down this time, connected it back the same way I did with the other time, and it was still a struggle. So I brought this little spatula to kind of like create like a ladder for them to climb into the jar. Again, I dropped a few of the melted sugar on the spatula to attract them into the jar, and they ignored. Somehow the melted sugar got on the wall, and they gathered around the wall to lick what they could have from the wall, and still ignored the one on the spatula. I had connected the one on the wall to the spatula to lead them on, but they just kind of like found a way to ignore it. These ants were doing everything else but enter into the jar. So I got angry. I had to get rid of all the melted sugar that was on the wall. just to get them angry, to scatter them, just so that they could, kind of like focus on the one I had on the spatula, just so they could go down to see the bigger picture, to see what else was there for them. So I had to like kind of like clean this one off. And so I had to take matters into my hands. I had to like try to lure them with this drop of sugar that you can see dangling down the edge of this thing I'm holding. I was trying to get them on to climb the thing so that I could just like pour them into the jar. They ignored for a while, but I was able to finally get a few of them. So this few became the first, the pioneer ants for our colony. The ants were having a good time. They were just going in and going out, and it just wasn't working for me because I just felt like I was waiting for too long and I didn't have the quantity that I was looking for. Should I say the number of ants that I was looking for? So I had to grab a piece of flat paper and just kind of like rolled them into the jar. I kind of like just scraped them off the wall into the jar. That's what you can see me doing right here. And I was able to come up with a few more of them. And then I just got tired for the day and I had to just call it a day. I'm going to continue another day until we're able to fill up our jar with more ants so we can keep having more content. I'm gonna keep you guys updated. Thank you so much for staying until this time. So this is what I was able to get at the end of everything. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching and please subscribe.